So Biru busts in and saves the day, and Suho sees him like as he's passing out from exhaustion. And while he's dreaming, his memories from when he was a kid start to come back. All the drawings he made and time he spent with the shadows. So he just wakes up confused in a hospital, like, was I just dreaming about an ant? But as soon as he wakes up, his unc, Jin-ho, calls him to make sure he's alright. And he's trying to get him a bunch of bodyguards, but he says he's alright. Now the news is being broadcasted about the many casualties that came as a result of this zombie mist-burn attack. But by the time backup hunters arrived, all the zombies just spontaneously combusted. So everybody's just confused as shit. But he just cuts off the TV so he can think. And he's happy like, wait, my awakening wasn't a dream. And I'm somebody that can level up and get stronger. But at the same time, like, that zombie was whooping my ass. So how did I survive? And that's when a shadow interrupts saying, I took care of him. It's been a while since I've greeted you, my lord. And then he starts busting out crying. I haven't seen you in so long. I'm overwhelmed with emotion. And now all the memories they shared together start flooding back. This ant is one of those shadows I was hanging out with as a kid. So how did I forget this shit until now? But Biru says he came from another dimension to see him. He's just off put like I was hanging out with monsters. And also, I don't remember you being this small. But it's because he used a lot of energy to cross dimensions. I'm usually much more dignified and fierce. But bro, it says you're a level 1 grunt. He starts cussing like this system is trash, disrespecting me like that. But anyways, you healed me, right? And he says, yeah, I'm skilled at that shit. Now the main reason I came was to break your seal, but it seems like you've already done that on your own. You may think that time before was a dream, but it was real. You were a lot stronger when you fought against me back then. But the great monarch Sung Jin Woo sealed away your memories and powers in hopes that you'd be able to live a normal life. But he's like, wait, you know my deadbeat dad? The one that left me? But he says, bro, he didn't leave. He had to go to space. But he's like, what the hell are you talking about? And Biru pulls out a shadow presentation, explaining that Jin Woo's fighting a war against invaders who seek to destroy the earth. My dad is protecting the world? Yes, from the outer gods called the Eaterim. Sent their apostles to attack our world, and I've been fighting them myself. Having countless encounters on my way to meet you, my lord. The gates and monsters on Earth must have been caused by this war as well. He's like, wait, is my mom with him? And Biru's like, no. She went missing the same day he did, so I just assumed they were together. Biru didn't know this at all, so he starts freaking out like, hold up, your mom is missing? It must have been the Eaterim, bro. The outer gods did something to attack her. Must have set up some kind of trap. So everything is because of this Eaterim, and they're the sole reason my parents haven't come back. Biru asks, do you want to see them? He says, of course, I've spent so many years by myself. Well then, there's only one way. Your dad can't come back because of the war, so you need to get stronger. He pulls out this key saying, let's start leveling up. He has a new quest, the Trial of the Shadows. And just by sticking the key into his shadow, it opens a portal to another world. Now enter and take back what's rightfully yours, my lord. He's just taking a moment to soak it all in. Like, we got outer space, a war with gods, the Shadow Monarch, all this shit sound crazy. If I can only see my parents after I get stronger, hey, I'll do as much leveling up as it takes. As Biru's just looking at him, he remembers Jin Woo ordering him to break his seal. He figured the Eaterims probably reached the earth by now, so return Suho his memories and powers and help him defend the earth. And of course, no one would be happier to sit by his side and watch him grow. Biru gives Suho this key, and just by sticking it into his own shadow, it opens a portal to another dimension. As they walk through it, he says this is the land of the dead, where no living being can enter without the owner's permission. He's just standing there taking it all in, but really it just looks like an abandoned city. However, it's giving him this familiar sensation. And then a display window pops up, and he's got a new quest to survive for 4 hours. He's just like, what? But Biru's telling him to be on his guard, because the trial has already started. But he's like, trial? Because this goblin is trying to jump down on him. Look at this acrobatic ass kick, like this is a full damn split. Talking about that scared me. Get the hell out of here. It's just a goblin scout. A scout means that there's more of them around. Well, I'll just take him out before he can warn anybody else. He was about to blow the horn, then he just takes his axe from him and kills him with it. R.I.P. And he's seeing the colors of the monsters' names show how strong they are. Then they get caught off guard as another scout blows a horn loud as shit. Oh, I guess there was more than one. Now it's a whole gang of goblins on him. He's like, hey, you're gonna help me, right? Now, I would love to, but seeing that I'm very far away from my liege, I can't really replenish my mana. I have to use it sparingly. And if I fight with you, you'll gain less experience, so you got it. What you're saying is you're not gonna help me. Alright, well, let's try out this authority shit. He pulls the axe from the goblin's head and in one smooth motion slashes all 3 of them. Feels like he's got an extra invisible hand. He catches an arrow and sees the archer that shot it, and says, here, I'll give it back, as he uses his ruler's authority to make a bow and arrow and shoot it right back at him. So of course Biru's glazing like his adaptability is amazing. During the young monarch's toddler days, which were like a myth of the extraordinary birth of a hero, the young monarch was able to use ruler's authority freely, which he inherited from the monarch. That power was created in order to destroy everything, so it became an interference in this peaceful world. Right now, the Edoram's disciples are invading the earth, and your monarch powers are finally able to resurface. Then he gets stabbed in the back. Bro's cheesing, but he ends up losing all those teeth anyway. He gets sent flying back. They're all just surrounding him as he's yanking it out. He says this shit hurts, but he cocked that bitch back, launches that bitch like Josh Allen, literally all of them, and even hits the Centurion in the back. And compared to when I was lifeless, I've never felt more alive. He's really just having a ball while they're jumping him. He's showing his health going down, but he's just wilding out even more. Jinwoo was unhinged, but I don't know if he was having fun like this. Hey, he doing this shit to see his parents again. He takes them all out as the 4 hours is finally over. Biru starts applauding. Wow, that was incredible. I, Biru, had no doubt that you would overcome this trial, young monarch. He's like, bro, you really did not help at all. Or asked if he want to receive a reward. Biru's getting hyped like, oh shit, he's about to get the shadow extraction. He's like, damn, on top of leveling up, I get new skills too. Like, I feel overpowered as shit right now. Biru explains that the leveling system is the improved version of the old one that the monarch used. It's now just a supporting tool for your stable growth, young monarch. To sum it up, you thought you were unawakened, but you were actually the strongest necromancer. That's how you can think of it. But he says, yeah, on to this reward shit. Receives this runestone. Suho crushes the runestone and receives the shadow extraction skill. Biru explains he can create shadow soldiers from the corpses of monsters. Shadow extraction is the essence of the authority that made the current shadow monarch Jinwoo. So I'm a necromancer. In order to get corpses, I have to hunt first, and that means I can only control those weaker than me. He tries to use it on one of the goblins, but he has to assign a word for the command. He can't just say shadow extraction. He's just thinking like, what should I call it? And Biru's blushing, saying the command needs to be intuitive. Of course, just like his daddy, the word he uses is arise. 3 of the goblins come back to life, but they just look kind of cute, right? He says, this is the shadow extraction? I mean, it's not as cool as I thought it was. Don't they get weaker too? And they're smaller, like, bro. They just start crying because he's shitting on them. Wait a minute, it says they're gonna disappear after a day passes. He's like, what, you don't actually have the shadow extraction? He's like, yeah, I guess not. Biru says it probably got something to do with his intelligence stat and his overall level. And he's just disappointed because, like, it's making them look bad. Like, it's supposed to be an incredible skill. He's like, all right, man, I get it. You don't gotta be so depressed, man. But then his stomach started growling because he ain't eaten 2 days. He asks, how do we get out of here? But since this is his land of the dead, he can just leave when he wants. Of course, he can just exit the shadow dungeon at will. Cuts to him enjoying the shit out some food. I'm trying to figure out what hospital he's at that's serving shit that's making him cheese like this. Biru says, hey, let me explain what we gotta do. We've been entrusted with 3 responsibilities. 1, we need to protect the earth from the monsters beyond. Obviously talking about the monsters in the dungeons. Feeding them will help you level up, and the stronger you get, the safer the world is. Number 2, we need to find your mom, and we'll probably get some clues about that along the way. We just gotta keep defeating monsters. Then 3rd, and most importantly, my guy, we need to restore my power. Like, I hate being weak, and I want to show the monarch exactly what I can do. I can only restore my strength by consuming things that have mana, or magical energy. But all he heard is that means I gotta go back in the dungeons. He stands up like, well, let's hop to it. But before they can go into dungeons, he has to be approved as a hunter, like going to the association and receiving a rank. He's thinking since he can level up, it's possible that he'll be an S. At the evaluation, Shorty says his level is 46, and he's an awakened E rank. He just leaves out kind of disappointed. Biru tries to cheer him up like the ranks are determined by your magical energy. You put all your stats into strength, well, that's why it was so low. But he's like, come on, man, you just making shit worse. Can an E rank like me protect the earth? He says, bro, you just gotta level up. Of course, E ranks don't really get selected to go into dungeons. He has to finesse his way in one. Like his dad comes up with the brilliant idea, just join the mining crew that goes in behind the attack force. It cuts to him in this dungeon just mining crystals. The person he knew that hooked him up with the job is his art professor at his college, Dong Yoon, and he's also an E rank. So thanks to you, I'll be able to work inside these dungeons. The first thing he does is apologize for what happened at the school. When all the students were getting attacked and slaughtered, he just ran for his life. He just feels bad for not helping out. But he's like, come on, bro, you're just an E rank. The association tells E ranks like me and you to just run when we see a monster. So really, you just did what you were told. He interrupts like, wait a minute, you're an E rank? Yeah, my shit was only 46. And he's like, hold up, your magic is lower than mine. He's thinking that there's no way, because he saw firsthand he was boxing with this zombie C rank hunter. But like, did I see wrong or something? I guess it would be more shocking if an E rank managed to fight off monsters and live. Then Biru interrupts like, that's correct. The young monarch is incredible. He looking at him and they just looking at each other. He falls to the ground like, what the fuck? Why are you rolling with a monster? Suho asks why he comes out. He says it's cause you're weak. It's only natural I stay by your side to protect you. He's like, wait bro, you can summon monsters? Most E ranks don't have a skill at all. He says, by the way, I got a running skill. He says, oh, so that's why you're so good at running. He was just joking, like he doesn't actually have a running skill. Biru says, impressive young monarch, you managed to crush his spirit. And he's just taking a moment to soak it all in. This is the first time he's been in a dungeon. As it cuts to the attack force that's deeper inside, they're just taking out what's left of these wolves. But then one of them points out that there's something down this path, and this shit looks kind of like an altar. They're just confused why there are ruins like this in a dungeon. Hey, maybe there's treasure in here instead of a monster. In the center of the room, there's this sword that's stuck in the ground. Hey, there actually is treasure. They're thinking about how they can appraise it and sell it for big bands. Special sword in a dungeon, this shit gotta be a fortune. Even though some of them are still worried it's a trap, the leader just reaches for the blade. He's thinking a C rank like me can definitely handle this. As soon as he grabs it, the aura starts flowing onto him. Now the room is like empty and he's standing in a pool of blood. This shit looks like that Berserk world. He continues to pull it out, does so completely, so hey, I guess it wasn't a trap. Then his teeth are sharp as shit and he says, who dares? He turns around and just chops bro's head off. Everybody's just standing by shook. Who dares to covet the sword of the Fang Monarch? All that's in his head is to kill, kill, and kill. And that's exactly what he does. Yeah, he called himself the Fang Monarch. Now it cuts back over to the mining crew. The rest of them are just confused. They watch Suho's goblins do the work for him. Even people that can summon usually only do 2, but he just pulled out 3. Bro can just tell his abilities are different, but he's just thinking, hey, this is awfully convenient, and it's nice that they do the work without complaining. Biru, this shadow extraction really is nice, but he's like, come on bro, please don't praise us for no meaningless shit like this. Come on bro, didn't you come in here to level up? He's just chilling, thinking about getting a reassessment after he gets some more mana. Remember that third great cause? We could achieve that here. He's like, oh shit, we about to get my powers back? Yeah, all you gotta do is eat something with mana, right? You see, there's plenty of crystals around, just go munch on them. And it's not like you're helping out, so just scavenge what falls onto the ground. Why he do Biru like that? His cheeks are chubby because he munching on the crystals. Then he senses something and says he just felt the presence of a monarch. So he's immediately thinking it's his dad, but no, there are more people with the powers of monarchs. If it was him, my powers would have been restored. Some noise is coming from deeper in the cave. The miners looking around like, what the fuck was that? It's coming from where the attack squad went. Of course, the miners are shook as a bunch of wolves start walking down on them.